I talked a lot about insurance coverages from the perspective of being a personal injury attorney. We have a focus in anything on wheels, motorcycles, trucks, cars, all that stuff. But I talk about the insurance part because a lot of people, they don't know what type of insurance they have. As I've said in other videos, fully covered is a meaningless term. It doesn't actually have any legal definition. Some people might have minimum liability policies that only cover and protect other people, and they'll call that full coverage. I see it as bare minimum coverage. It's frankly the minimum required policy in the state of Washington, and folks will think they're fully covered. Some people will say, well, I have collision coverage. It covers my car, truck, whatever it is. In the event of a crash, I'm fully covered now. Well, again, that's just a piece of a larger part of a policy. If you think about what an average policy that's pretty booked up with all the different provisions, you're looking at liability coverage, you're looking at collision coverage, underinsured motorist coverage, you're looking at personal injury protection coverage, comprehensive coverage. Some people might have add-ons for like rental vehicles and some other things. So there's a lot that goes into it. And so having, talked with a lot of people that thought they were covered for this or thought they were covered for that, and I have to tell them, no, you didn't actually have coverage for that. Here's what your insurance actually covers. You pay to cover other people because you got a bare minimum policy. I decided to come up with this pamphlet. It's called The Myth of Full Coverage Insurance. Are You Really Covered? And what's really great about this is it talks about the full coverage issue, what it doesn't mean, how it is meaningless, and it talks about how the various different types of coverages. It talks about liability coverage. It talks about underinsured motorist coverage, personal injury protection coverage, collision coverage, which, if your car is worth more than $10,000, you should have collision coverage on it. And then it talks about the other types of damages you can get. And so this is a pamphlet that I think everybody should read if they think they have full coverage, because you're saying you're paying for something that is really undefined. And you may think your coverage is this whole big universe of stuff when it's this small little thing over here. And so that's a pamphlet. If you direct message us, give us your information, your address, name, I'll send it to you for free. Take a look at it. And I'm always here to answer questions. So if you even have questions about your insurance, like, hey, am I actually fully covered? I'll talk to you about it. I'll look at your declaration page and I'll say, hey, here's what you actually are covered for, because there's no such thing as full coverage. We can talk about what you're covered for and what situations you would be provided coverage. That's what you really, really need to know, because when you're coming to my office after you've been in a crash, it's too late to change it, right? Now we're just dealing with what your contract says, and we're trying to make the most of it. And some folks, they walk in and they got great coverage, and it's going to create a great situation for them because they're protected. Other folks, they don't have much, and it's a situation where their insurance probably, if you have bare minimum coverage, in most cases, not going to really be helpful for you in your claims process. It's only going to protect the other person, and if you're not at fault, then it's not helping you at all. Well, I won't say not helping you at all, but for the most part, it's not going to be as effective as someone that has UIM coverage and PIP coverage and collision coverage. These are things that are going to be very helpful for you if you are in a crash and you're not at fault. If you are at fault, then the liability coverage is going to be immensely helpful. And so these are all different parts of a puzzle that go together to get you protected in a lot of different situations. So The Myth of Full Coverage Insurance. Get the pamphlet. Just let us know. We'll send it to you for free. We want you to be educated. We want you to know, and we want you to actually be covered in a way that makes sense for you from a financial perspective, because insurance is more expensive these days, and you should probably have an understanding of what you're paying for. That way you can put the money where you think it's going to be most important. Okay, talk to you soon.